Hello, welcome back to my channel. We are doing another 24-hour readathon, but with a twist. I know what it is. I didn't see this coming. We're gonna have a problem. I'm not gonna be able to focus. This may be where I call an audible. I am an indecisive Gemini who cannot make a decision to save her life. I might cheat and pick again. I might. I just might. I'm laughing, and you don't know why. Because if this is gonna take a lot of brain power, that's where you're gonna lose me. Oh, this is gonna be a cinch, y'all. Leave it to Lucy's score to give me the goods. She just takes a little longer than most, you know? I did a very nice job wrapping this one. This is the hand we were dealt. This is the sword we are falling on. Why can I not open this? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling chipper. This is so not going well. So, here's the deal. It's the middle of the month. I start to get really slumpy. And suddenly the books that I was really excited for a couple weeks ago are no longer as exciting. I picked these books for a reason. I picked these books at the beginning of the month because I was excited about all of them. But 2 weeks later, I can't seem to get motivated to pick up any of them. And if anyone knows anything about me, it is that I am an indecisive Gemini who cannot make a decision to save her life. So because of that, I decided to wrap up the remainder of my TBR for the month, and we're going to let a random number generator choose which number I'm going to read, and we're going to see how many of these we can get through in this reading vlog. I make a lot of decisions using random number generators, so this is not a new thing for me, and this idea is not an original concept. I've seen a ton of creators do this on BookTube, and I figured it'd be a fun challenge. Now, I kind of remember what these books are, but I couldn't tell you all of them. I know there are thrillers, there are fantasy, there are romances, there are sci-fi, there might even be a historical fiction and some young adult mysteries. There's just everything that was left on my TBR is here, and we're going to get into it. We have a random number generator. Like I said, I feel like I want to read all of these, but at the same time, I'm sure there are some that I want to read more than others, and I have this like sneaking suspicion that I'm going to open a book and go, oh shit, and that is going to tell us my real feelings about whether or not I actually want to read these. We have 1 to 17. Can you see this? If not, just trust me. Okay, cool. You know what I'll do? I will screen record this.
Control center.
So we are going to set this from 1 to 17 because that's how many books I have here. It's a random number, I know, but that's how many I had left on my TBR. I am so scared right now. I'm like afraid to even press the button. Like, why? Okay, here goes nothing. 10. Ooh, okay. At least it's easy to access. I don't have to move these around too much. I don't know what this could be. I'm so scared. I feel like this is a bad pick. Let's just open it. I spent an hour wrapping these just for me to tear it up now. Oh my God, I'm so scared. Should I let you see it first? Should I look away? Okay. That's not a bad one. This is Ruth Ware's new book, 0 Days. I'm excited to read this, and I don't think I would have picked it up on my own if I hadn't forced myself to, so this is a good pick, actually. So we are going to start reading this. I will probably check in with you after the first 100 pages or so, just to let you know my thoughts and feelings, and hopefully I enjoy it. I have chosen a nice little thundery library, rainy ASMR room, and I have stacked all the books right in my line of vision, just staring me down, motivating me to keep going. So they're just gonna be sitting there staring at me. I said I was going to update you at about 100 pages. I'm actually almost 200 pages into this now. I got a little bit carried away, but the plot was moving super fast. It's interesting, it almost doesn't feel like a typical Ruth Ware book. You know, if you think of The Death of Mrs. Westaway or The Turn of the Key, those type of books, this feels very different. Not necessarily in a good or a bad way. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. It's definitely more fast-paced than her usual thriller. I like the main character. I do find her choices to sometimes be a little bit frustrating, but I think that's just for the purposes of the plot. So in the beginning of this book, we have this married couple, and they work as, it's actually adorable, they work as these penetration specialists trying to break into companies and buildings to show their clients whether or not their security is up to code and is tight enough to protect them. It almost feels like a heist. Gabe is running everything from home, the technical side of things. He's got the blueprints, he's got the passwords and how to get past certain, doors and locks and things like that. And then Jack is the one that's physically in the building trying to break down all these barriers. They hit a few bumps in the road along the way, but they succeed. They manage to succeed. They hang up with each other. She says, "I'll see you at home." She gets home and she finds her husband dead. Somebody slit his throat. She is questioned by the police, and her timeline doesn't seem to add up for them. And they keep bringing her back in for questioning. And she goes in without a lawyer, which I'm like, I know you're innocent, but obviously they're going to think you did it because you're the spouse. That's the first thing they always think, is that the spouse did it. So bring a lawyer, because something you say might screw you over and make you look guilty even when you're not. And now she's on the run and hiding out. She changed her hair color. She's hiding in some cabin. She's trying to figure out who killed her husband so that she can prove herself innocent and make sure that the person that did it is punished. I will check in with you when I have completed our first book, and we will pick our next book. Update time, I have finished 0 Days. I enjoyed it. It took me a while to get into it in the beginning. I will say with the pacing, it felt like the entire first half of the book, we have no reveals, no answers. She's just sort of on the run and floundering. Like, she's not trying anything new or learning anything. She's just going from place to place, running and hacking and sneaking into places and figuring out how to get through security systems. And some of that was interesting, but eventually it became very repetitive. I did guess most of the twists, not all of them. I definitely had some suspicions that turned out to be correct. Overall, I had a good time. I think I'm going to give this one like a 3.5 stars. I'm really glad that I included it in this challenge, because I really think it would have taken me a long time to get around to this if I hadn't been forced to. So, yay. It is 7 o'clock now, and we are going to choose our second book. I'm scared. I really am in the mood for a romance and not another thriller, just because I don't like doing back-to-back of the same genre. And like most of these are going to be romance, and these, most of them are thrillers. So I'm like a little bit nervous if it's a bigger number, but we'll see. We'll see. It doesn't matter. This is the game. This is what we're doing. Let's see. 9. Ugh. That's not what I want. I want one of these. Nope. We're doing it. At least it's a skinny one, but if it's another thriller, I'm just so not in the mood for another thriller right now. Not only is it another thriller, but it's another thriller by a British author about a married couple. It's fine, but god damn it, this is about a married couple who live on a cliff. The cliff is known for being a popular spot that people go to end their lives. Oh my god, and the husband's name is Gabe again. Are we kidding right now? Wild. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. It's about an hour later, and I am halfway through The Soulmate. It is reading very quickly. The chapters are super short. It is jumping back and forth between times and also perspectives. One of the perspectives that we get is Amanda, who is the woman that jumped or was pushed off of this cliff. And it's her perspective after she's already dead, giving commentary about it. So like there's all these little tidbits we're getting that lead us to believe that there's more going on, there's more to the story. The first chapter, from her perspective, she very clearly says, I did not go to that cliff to die. There was one twist very early on that did surprise me. I was genuinely surprised by this twist. So that was fun. And it was very early on, so I'm hoping there's more of those sprinkled throughout. But like I said, it's reading really quickly. I'm having a good time. I'm going to spend the next hour finishing this, and then I will let you know what I thought. We're about 7 hours into the readathon, and we finished our second book. I paused the timer to make a little coffee. I want another one already, and I'm not even finished with this one. So good. As I was saying, it was really fun. The pace was like nonstop. The chapters were the perfect length where you just wanted to keep turning the page. Throughout the story, every single character at one point or another seemed guilty, seemed unreliable, seemed untrustworthy. You had no idea who to root for. I had a really good time. And I'm going to give it a 4.5. I'm surprised, honestly. I am. I didn't see this coming. I did not think this would be better than the Ruthware, and I was not in the mood for this, and it worked out really well. Now it is time to do this again. First of all, I'm sorry if you can hear the dishwasher, but like, your girl's gotta clean. I am so tempted to just put 1 through 8 right now. Should I do that? It is cheating, but I'm telling you right now, I honestly don't think I can handle another thriller right now. I need a change of pace. I can't do another domestic. Let's see if we can do it honestly. If I get something between 11 and 17 though, I might cheat and pick again. I might. I just might. Please be a romance. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1. 7. Okay. Okay, it's a paperback. We're okay with that. There's still a chance that it is not a romance. Number 7. I think I know what this is. There were 2 books left when I ran out of the first paper I was using, and I had to get another paper. So it's one of those 2 books. So it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It'll be a surprise for you, even if it's not a surprise for me. Oh, and I already told you, I know what it is. It's not a romance. But, you know, this is just the game we're playing. This is the hand we were dealt. This is the sword we are falling on. Why can I not open this? What is happening? Why is this paper so strong? Okay, this is embarrassing. Is it facing the wrong way? Oh! Okay. 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 Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. This is a young adult thriller mystery something. This author is so well loved on Book Talk and BookTube and Bookstagram. I actually read Little White Lies by this author when it first came out years ago, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I have gotten rid of so many of my young adult mysteries and thrillers because I just don't think I'll ever reread them. And that one in particular, I was like, I cannot get rid of this because I totally would reread this. And I actually wanted to finish the series and I never did. So I should do that. Everybody loves her series, The Inheritance Games. I haven't read that one yet, but it seemed like everybody started reading that, became obsessed with it, and then discovered that she had this series and it got a cover rebrand. So I think people have started getting excited and picking it up. This is supposedly like Criminal Minds. So this girl, Cassie, is 17 and she's a natural at reading people. So the FBI sets up this classified program using exceptional teenagers to crack infamous cold cases. It sounds like a good time. I've heard that it's a really fast read, even though it's not a romance, even though it's not exactly what I was hoping for. I do think it'll be a change of pace because it's not a domestic thriller. We're not talking about a husband and wife. It's not going to be like a British husband keeping secrets, which is what everything I've read so far for this vlog has been. I'm going to probably read, I don't know, maybe 100. Oh my God. I forgot about YA font. Look how big that is. Look how the spacing is, the margins. Oh, this is going to be a cinch, y'all. It's 300 pages. Guys, this is going to be so much fun because it's going to go so quickly. I'm so excited for this. It is like 10 o'clock right now, and I could see finishing this by midnight if I really buckle down. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buckle down. Yeehaw! All right. I don't know why I just did that. Ignore the hair. It's been a long day, okay? I have gotten halfway through the naturals. This is so much fun. I'm flying through it. The chapters are fast. The characters are fun. The plot, there's not much of one yet, but that's okay. Essentially, we have Cassie. She's 17. Her mother was murdered 5 years ago, and it's gone unsolved. And in the meantime, she's now just been recruited by the FBI because she has a gift for reading people. And so they want her to come and join this like classified group of teenagers that have these gifts to help the FBI solve cold cases. She moves to DC and is now training with these 4 other teenagers. One of them is really good at patterns and numbers and can figure out from crime scenes like what happened. One of them can read emotions. One of them can tell when somebody's lying. And then there's another one who is a profiler just like her. So Dean is like this mysterious, broody bad boy. I have a feeling that means he's going to be the love interest. That being said, right now we are in a bit of a triangle. Dean is definitely giving off a vibe of like, you should go home, you should leave, this is not a good place for you. Profiling is really traumatizing, like getting into the mind of these serial killers is really hard and really trying, and it almost seems like he's trying to protect her from something, but she doesn't know what. And she's like, I'm not scared of this and I want to stick it out. She's hoping that she can either solve her mother's murder or at the very least prevent other murders like her mother's murder from happening. And so she's like gonna stick it out. She's like, I want to be here. I want to do this. It's really fun. I'm having a lot of fun. I read the first half in about an hour and a half, so I should be able to finish the rest of it tonight, and then I will update you in the morning on my final thoughts, and we will pick our next book. But so far, so good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling chipper. So I'm going to go finish this. I will pause the timer when I go to sleep, and then I will check in with you in the morning. Good morning. So first of all, last night I did finish The Naturals. It read so quickly and it was a super fun time. I can't wait to continue with the series. I guessed every single plot twist, and there was a whole, typical trope of the villain monologue at the end. It was just like good classic YA content, and I enjoyed it. The writing was fun. It was easy. She's a great writer. I am enjoying watching the relationship dynamics. There's definitely love triangle happening. I thought it was immediately going to go into Dean being the main love interest, but Michael is holding his own, and I'm not mad at it. I kind of like him. I mean, for all of Dean's broodiness, Michael is just bantery and fun. I'm enjoying watching that play out. I think I'm going to rate it, I'm going to say 4. If I were not a 34-year-old who has sort of moved past young adult fiction, I think this would have been a 4-star for me. Because I'm a little bit older, I'm more leaning toward a 3 just because it was sort of cookie cutter in a lot of ways. But that doesn't mean the writing wasn't excellent and it wasn't really fun. So I think I'm going to rate it a 4. I think that's where I am. Glad we talked about this. Glad we decided. We are going to pick our next book. They're all sitting right here. I'm really hoping that it's a good one and that I can get an audiobook for it. Or maybe I even already have it. Who's to say? Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. It's 8. I'm laughing, and you don't know why. Here's why. So number 8 is the other book that was wrapped with the different paper. So again, I know exactly what this is, and I'm laughing about it. And you'll see why. You'll see why. You're about to see. I don't even need to look away because I know what it is. So this is The Inheritance Games. Yesterday I said that I was really excited to get into The Naturals and The Inheritance Games. So now I am reading the first book of each of them in this vlog. So that's exciting, I guess. I feel like I wish I could finish this series before I start this series, but beggars can't be choosers. This is another young adult mystery, and I have heard it compared to Knives Out. Secret passages, elaborate riddles, billions at stake. Oh, that sounds really fun. Hawthorne House is also occupied by the family that was just disinherited, including the 4 Hawthorne grandsons, dangerous, magnetic boys who grew up with expectation that one day they would inherit billions. Heir apparent Grayson is convinced that Avery is a con woman, and he's determined to take her down. But his brother Jameson, oh, that's my brother's name, but his brother Jameson views her as the grandfather's last hurrah, a twisted riddle, a puzzle to be solved. Interesting. This sounds fun. This sounds like a fun time. Riddles and mysteries. It should be a pretty quick read, which is good. Good news for me. I'm going to see if I can get this audiobook either on Scribd or Libby. We're going to go do some errands. I will take you with me, and we will stop by the little free library and the little coffee shop across the street. That's the plan. home. We ran our errands. We went to the Little Free Library and donated about 6 or 7 books. I wish I had brought more. It was a lot emptier than I thought, but sometimes when I bring too many, it's too full to fit them all, and then I have to carry them all the way back, and that's annoying. I'm glad I got that done. Then I finished my errands, came back home. During that time, I read the first 100 pages on audiobook. I did have to pause a couple of times because I kept finding myself getting super distracted with things going on around me. I am not good at reading in a coffee shop. I know that that is like some people's favorite thing to do. I can't help but pay attention to everything around me instead of the book. I kept finding myself getting distracted, and so because of that, I only did 100 pages. That's okay. It's reading super fast. It is delightfully unrealistic in the best way. Like, you have to really suspend your disbelief for this. This girl is a teenager, and she somehow inherited billions of dollars from this random philanthropist from Texas who she doesn't know, allegedly. She has no idea why he included her in his will. He left all of his family little to nothing and left her everything. And there's all these stipulations that protect her from the family trying to take the money from her or kicking her out or whatever nefarious deeds they might think of to try and get the inheritance from her. It's wild. It's ridiculous. The 4 Hawthorne boys are super fun. One thing about Jennifer Lynn Barnes, she's really good at coming up with fully fleshed characters. So every single one of them has a full personality. I like all of them. They're definitely quirky and unique and different. We have Grayson, who is the most serious one. He's the heir apparent. He always wears a suit, and he's very upset at Avery basically taking away his inheritance. We have Nash, who is said to be like a cowboy-ish type. I don't really know what that means, but he drives a motorcycle, and he seems sort of rebellious, I guess. Then we have Jameson. He's having the most fun with Avery. He's actually showing her around the house and telling her about all these secret passageways and all these riddles, and I think he's going to be the one that she ends up with, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. And then we have Xander, who's the youngest one, and he's adorable. He's like, I'm everyone's favorite. He's just like goofy, funny, cute, youngest kid type dude. I am a little surprised there's some trigger warnings for domestic abuse, which I wasn't expecting to come across in a young adult novel, but I don't mind it. And I think the main mystery is she's got to try to figure out who this guy is and why he left her all of his money. Is he family? Is he related? Does she actually know him? She didn't realize it. I have a suspicion of who he is, but I don't know if I'm right. But if I am right, I'll let you know that I was right without spoiling you. I'll tell you if I was right or wrong. But I think I know who it is. But we'll see. It was great. I think I liked this more than The Naturals, just because I feel like there was more mystery involved and more plot involved. I loved the characters, specifically the 4 brothers. They each had their own unique trauma and personalities, and it was just fun to get to know them and watch them interact with Avery. Thought I knew who Mr. Hawthorne was going to be to Avery. I was right and wrong, if that makes sense. I got part of it right, but not all of it. So I had a good time. I had a really good time. It was unexpected. The riddles were fun. I was having a good time like trying to solve them before the characters did, because there were like anagrams and things like that, which was really fun. I loved this. I'm going to give it a 5-star. I think I have to. This is a 5-star read. I can't believe I'm saying that about a young adult mystery, but here we are. The people were right. It's a 5-star. So now that is the 4th book finished, which means it is time to pick book number 5. If we want to do the full 24 hours, we still have 8 hours left, which would put us well into the night. I don't know what to hope for. I don't know what to expect. At this point, we've now read 4 books, all of which had been in the thriller and or mystery category. So I promise I did put other genres in here. I know I did. At least half of them are not thrillers, so this is just where we are. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. Because if this is going to take a lot of brain power, that's where you're going to lose me. I just read 2 fast-paced and easy-to-read young adult books. So if I get something that's like too complex or too highbrow or too literary, we're going to have a problem. I'm not going to be able to focus. This may be where I call an audible and I change my mind about this whole concept and I just cheat until I find a book that I want to read. Let's see. We'll see. We'll see. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1. 2. I'm not mad at this. Number 2. This is a paperback, but it's a thick one, which makes me a little bit nervous. I actually think I know what this is. And I think it is finally a romance, but a long one. Yeah. We have Rock Bottom Girl. So this is a Lucy Score book that I actually already started, and I'm actually already 100 pages into. I have this on my Kindle, and I started it on Kindle a long time ago. So I may have to reread what I've already read. I believe this is a fake dating romance. So a woman moves back to her hometown after being dumped and losing her job or something. And so she takes a temporary position as a PE and soccer coach. Then she ends up fake dating the high school bad boy turned sexy good guy. I guess he says he'll teach her how to coach if she teaches him how to be in a relationship. So it's fake dating at its finest, and it's Lucy Score, so it's bound to be a good time. The only problem is it's about 500 pages long, which is too long, but here we are. This is what we're reading next. There's some dance group practicing. It's really cute. They're little tiny girls and they have this little dance routine. I kind of have been watching them a little bit. That's not creepy, right? Is it creepy? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so we are 30% into this. I switched to reading on my Kindle just because I needed a change. And also it tells me how far I am and how long it's going to take me to finish. And this is telling me I have 4 hours left. We're going to see if we can pick that up a little bit. I wanted to update you with my thoughts on the beginning because I just got to the first kiss and it was good. I was a little worried about this book because it has a lot to do with soccer. She's a soccer coach and I'm not into soccer. It's just not my thing. But she's really floundering. One of my favorite things about her, and actually the male lead too, is she is 38, I think, and he said he's pushing 40, so like it's nice to read about people that are in their 30s for once instead of like these 26-year-olds that end up getting married in the epilogue, and it's like, come on, really. I was a little bit skeptical about how I was going to feel about this. I didn't know with the soccer of it all if it was going to be my jam. I also, in the beginning, I was having a hard time rooting for the guy. And I think it's just because my expectations were not in the right place, because the back describes him as a former bad boy. I just thought I would have gotten more bad boy vibes from him, but he seems like such a Boy Scout. Like, literally, Marley just called him a Boy Scout. So basically, in the scene that I just read, she's like, you used to be such a badass and now you're like such a Boy Scout. And he's like, I'm sitting here on school property drinking beer. And basically, she like dares him to prove it, and he kisses her. It was the first time I really was like, oh, I kind of like him. So we still haven't gotten to the fake dating part of it, and we're 130 pages in. This is the problem with Lucy Score's books. They're too damn long. It's about fake dating, and we're 130 pages in, and they haven't even brought up fake dating yet. So I don't know how that's gonna come about, because they've already kissed, but apparently that's gonna happen at some point. So it hasn't even been that long, but I just have to update. He is totally winning me over. It took long enough. Like, literally, we're at the 40% mark now, and it shouldn't take 40% to fall in love with a character, but Jake is totally swoony now. He calls her pretty girl, which, for those of you that have seen One Tree Hill, when Lucas calls Brooke pretty girl, and I never, like, I don't know, I'm not big on, cutesy nicknames, but for some reason, he, like, literally, he just was like, see you at school, pretty girl. Like, oh my God. And he's, like, a history teacher. He's really good with his kids, and he has a dog. He is totally winning me over. Took long enough, but he's winning me over. I'm having a great time. Leave it to Lucy Score to give me the goods. She just takes a little longer than most, but basically, the deal with Jake is that he has decided he wants to be in a long-term relationship. He's never wanted that before, and he's always avoided them. He, wants her to help him, practice being a boyfriend. So they were going for a run one morning, and I guess her parents had told her she should, invite him over to breakfast so they can meet him. So when they get back to her house after the run, she's like, do you want to come inside and have breakfast and meet my parents? And he's like, what? Are you kidding me? I don't want to meet your parents, not like this. And she takes it to mean because it's a fake relationship, and then he wants to save the meet the parents thing for his first real relationship. The only reason he said that is because of the way he's dressed. He's wearing no shirt, he's sweaty, and he has his dog with him. And he's like, I'm not going to show up shirtless to your parents' house to meet them. It means more to me. He's like, I absolutely want to meet them. She goes, do you really want to meet them? He's like, absolutely. They mean something to you. So let me know the place and I'll be there. Adorable. Also, I'm cracking up. The most unrealistic part of this whole thing is not the fake dating, which is shocking. I know. But it's not the fake dating. It is literally the way that Marley coaches and teaches and speaks to these kids. They are teenagers, and I understand that. However, she would have been fired 1,000 times. And she keeps saying, oh, this is a temporary position. I'm just here for a semester, so I can say whatever I want. But, can you really? I mean, she is so harsh with them, and they fucking deserve it. Teenagers are the worst. They're so rude. They're bullying each other. They're bullying her. So, I totally understand why she's acting out and why she's lashing out. But, you're the teacher. You're the adult. You have to, rein it in a little bit. This bully girl, hit one of the sophomore girls in the shins with her field hockey stick, purposely. So she, pulls her out into the hallway, and she's like, you're going nowhere. You're just a sad, mean bully, and you're going to be sitting in a divorce office in 5 years because your $50,000 wedding couldn't cover up how mean and awful you were, and your husband figured it out right after that. She's, really being aggressive, and it's totally warranted, but also you are an adult. You cannot talk to kids like that. It's crazy. But also the kids are really just the worst. Teenagers are the worst. Now they're all at practice, and she's introducing a new player to the team because Lisbeth is no longer on the team because she's a bully and a meanie, and Marley screamed at her. So she's introducing this new player, and she's like, this is how it's going to be. We're a team, and I'm in charge, and you're going to listen up and do what I say. She's like, does anyone have a problem with that? And they all raise their hand. She's like, too bad, I'm the boss. Like, this is what it is. And then she says, so other than that, does anyone have anything they'd like to talk about? And one of the girls goes, can we talk about why the only makeup you wear is mascara and chapstick? Like, teenagers are the worst, but also that's hysterical. I love it. I don't know why. That just cracked me up. They're awful. And she's like, no. Okay, that's it. I'm really going to stop updating. I freaking swear. It's just like easier to update romance books because you don't have to worry about spoilers as much. So like every time something's like funny or cute or swoony, I'm like, ooh, I should talk about it. But like, should I? I don't know. Who's to say? I gotta go. I gotta read, guys. I did finish Rock Bottom Girl. This was fun. I definitely enjoyed the romance. I really liked Jake as a character, and Marley was fun to read from her perspective because it was just so grounded and real, and it was nice to see for a change instead of the like manic pixie dream girl or the, oh, but she's so beautiful and she's so perfect and she's so flawless. Jake thought that about her, but she did have some real issues. I don't know. It was fun. It was fun to read about the relationship. I will say the soccer parts were a big yawn for me. I liked watching her coach the girls and getting better at that and gaining confidence, but I didn't need entire chapters of the actual soccer games being played. All I needed to know is whether they were winning or losing. I think I'm going to give it a 3-star. Definitely not my favorite romance. Definitely not my favorite Lucy score, but there was nothing like wrong with it overall. So let's pick out our next book, and this will probably be our last book, and we will just read as much of it as we can until one of two things happen. Either the timer runs out or I can't keep my eyes open anymore. Whichever comes first. Let's pick our final book. Oh, I'm sad that this is the final one. This was really fun. I would definitely do this again, and I'm also trying to decide what to do with the remaining wrapped books. If I should just continue picking them like this for the rest of the month. I think I might. Instead of just unwrapping all of them, like what a waste, you know? But this is the final one we're doing for this video. Here goes nothing. Ready? 3, 2, 1. 11. Okay, we are back to a hardcover. So this is 11. I'm nervous. Okay. This is actually perfect because I told my mommy that I would start reading this week since she just picked it up. This is The 5-Star Weekend by Ellen Hildebrand. She's read all of her books. I've read some of her books. I definitely am excited to read this. I feel like if I don't read it this month, the summer's over and it's too late and I'm going to have to save it for next year. So I'm actually happy this came up because, again, I think this is one that I would continue to stare at and not find the motivation to pick up if I hadn't done this challenge. So what do we know about this? Not much. 5-Star Weekend is a surprising, captivating story about friendship, love, and self-discovery set on Nantucket. It will be a weekend like no other. Every time I picked up an Ellen Hildebrand in the past, I've definitely been wary and hesitant because it's not a genre I typically go for, but I've always been pleasantly surprised. So I have a feeling that'll be the case for this, but I am cautiously optimistic for this one. So we're going to start this. Tomorrow we will wrap up everything I read. We'll go over it all and I'll let you know how much of this I finished. Cool? So we have reached the end of the video. I ended up falling asleep reading The 5-Star Weekend around page 123. I had about 2 hours left on my 24-hour timer. So this morning when I got up, I read for the final 2 hours. So we did complete 24 hours. We just did it over 3 days. So I would call that a win, right? So this morning I ended up making it to page 304 before the timer ran out. And then I did end up finishing the last 60 or 70 pages after that. So I read a little bit longer because I was so close to the end. This totally surprised me in the best way. And it shouldn't have, because as I said, every time I read an Ellen Hildebrand, I go in nervous because contemporary is normally not my thing. And every time I have such a good time. There's something about her writing. It is so descriptive. You can see every dish that the person is preparing. You can see every guest room, literally she's describing these guest rooms. And I felt like I was standing in them. I could see the exact decor, the exact layout. Every single inch of it was described, and I wasn't bored by it, which is wild. The story overall was interesting. Typically where contemporary fiction loses me is in the mundane details of the relationships. And I don't know, it sounds silly, but if there is not a murder or a love story or some intense political drama, I have a hard time caring about a plot. But in this instance, I didn't have that problem so much. I think the dynamics between these 5 women was really interesting. Like I said, I could see myself there. I could picture every single aspect of it. And because of that, it was just so easy to fall into the story and commit. I mean, I can't believe I basically read this in 2 sittings. So I am happy to have been proven wrong once again by Ellen Hildebrand. She's great. I am going to stop resisting, and I'm just going to pick up all of her books from now on, without any fear, without any hesitation. Once again, my mother was right, because she always is. So for the 5-Star Weekend, I am going to give it a solid 4-star. It was a wonderful surprise. So we ended up reading 6 books in this vlog, which came out to 2,158 pages, not including the 60 pages I read after the 24 hours were over. And I had a great time. I had a 5-star read. I had a couple 4-star reads. I don't think I gave anything below a 3-star. Overall, I would say this challenge was a huge success for me. It made me pick up books that I would have dragged my feet on for possibly years. It made me give books a try that I would have been much more wary to go into and would have had a harder time picking them up. The added challenge of having to finish one before opening another one helped me tremendously, because I am infamous for starting a book and then putting it down because I want to start something else, and then putting that down because I want to start something else. And this actually forced me to keep my attention on one book at a time, which overall I feel like made the reading experience that much better. I feel like I was more immersed in the stories. I had a better time reading them. I would love to do this challenge again. I have not unwrapped the rest of these books yet, and I don't know that I will. I think I may leave them as is and continue picking from them in this way for the rest of the month. We'll see. That is everything from me. Let me know if you read any of these books, what you thought. That's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for taking this journey with me, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye! What is her name?
It's like so bad.
And commentating. Is that right?
I'm talking to myself.
No. 4.
Why is this paper so strong?
Okay, this is embarrassing. Why do I look insane? Should I take these off? Or should I just talk to you like this, like I'm lecturing you? That's not what I meant to say. Unnecessary. So that means that I have now finished 4 books. Okay, let's try again. Oh, and I'm not even screen recording. Well, that's silly of me. As usual, I turned the camera on and the siren came. And I don't know if it was because it was more fun with the added challenge of unwrapping the presents. What was I saying? I don't know. I'm having fun. Also ignore the puzzle. Okay, bye.